We're back. We'll go to 9:30. Speed of tape is picking up 4250. I get long, and I look for the traversal of the LVN up to 4550. So it should be sticky. The makers pull, liquidity dries up. I still think we're looking for 4550. They walk it down. My entrance would be 4250 if I can get in, or the outside of this auction, given that it still exists at 4275. They're just traversing the LVN now. I could take a wide sort of poor trade at 43s, 40, trying to hit 4550. The risk reward is still there. The tape dries up and we start laddering down. There's another auction there at 43.25s off sellers, 42.75s. There's my entry, 42.50. They plunge it higher, so I'd mark it in and they'd put me in at 42.75s. Now we stopped at 45.50, which is what we ran over just now. If we can get above it, which we are, seller's getting absorbed. So I wouldn't even scratch my trade there. I'd still look for 45.50s, even though price didn't get above it. Now what I'm worried about, and then okay, but there's consistent buying and selling at 44s. So that's a real auction. We're looking for 44.50s now. What I was worried about is the spamming of inside prints at a high relative to the previous two times it happened where price reversed because it was people closing their positions is what I presume, whereas it's not the case. But liquidity is dried up now, and I'm about 2 ticks away from my entry, and we're going to hit this 43.75 probably. So it's time to scratch the trade for a couple tick wins, but it'd be probably a break even after fees. We're back at 42.50s. Now I want to see if liquidity dries up, if they step in again, the edge of this value area, which is where I did. Yeah, they step in again. We're immediately back at 44.50s. I did here. And I'd scratch on the sellers. So it would be another failed breakout trade. So if I traded this, it would be one break even and one failed breakout trade. And then the revisiting, and I wouldn't take this trade anymore. I'd look for lower. And I think price is going to 41s now. It missed the destination. 43, I'd get short here at 43.25s, even though there's upticking, because we've hit that level 3 times. There's really no liquidity on the downside, but the maker's going to pull it down anyway, I think. We're looking for 41s, which might be a bit overzealous. Tape has gotten sticky here. They're trying to force an auction. 3, 4 ticks away. Tape has stopped. I'd get out. But the fact that this price exists and it's below my entry means we're going lower. $41, $40.75, the edge of the LBM. They're still offering lower. The maker wants it lower. $42.50, $42.75, $42.25. I still think there's a chance we hit 41s, but we're also more importantly forming an auction at 42.25s, going back and forth. But it's a low liquidity one. We're at 41s. We're going lower. We're at 40.75s. We shoot through makers pull. I still think we're going lower based off of participation. They walk it up. They walk it back down. I thought it was going to be a messed up auction again, but they ran over it, which tells me we're getting lower prices, probably down to 38.75. So I'm uptaking from buyers. I'd get out here. We're back in the VA. Even though there's no inside prints at 41.25s, they're still going to take it higher. because the maker's offering that price slowly over and over again, making it more available. Or we could just fill out the gap, which is extraordinarily, which is incredibly painful because you don't ever want price to fill out a gap, especially in between the edge of a value area and the LVN. But I don't make the rules. I still think higher. Those are just balancing there. You're right about offering prices. Um, I generally believe that the good entries are constrained by time. So if the market is posting that offer again and again and again, and it's there every single time, that probably means we're going lower or higher relative to where you are on the ladder. If you get filled and it immediately moves in your favor, or if you get filled and it immediately ticks in the opposite direction, I think that's a better indicator. Like right here, uh, I actually don't know because I was paying attention. But we're crossing the LVM. Low side destination would be 38.75s and 38 evens. And the maker is offering those prices at 40.50 and lower over and over again, making it easier to trade, which makes me think that we are going lower, even though the inside prints are low on liquidity. 40.50, there's an auction, um, and they walk it up to 41.50. So a lot of this would just be sitting on my hands, um, and staying out of trouble. The profile from a distribution perspective doesn't look very good. Along there at 41 with my back below at 40.25 for a stop. And the seller steps in. He's absorbed. I really don't know anymore. And then I get stopped out. Just expecting an optimistic traversal. Probably back into the LVN. LVN off of absorption of those sellers. Maker wants it lower. It goes short, 40.25s. They fill me. It's a big auction there. They'd stop me out at 41.50s. 39s. We're looking for 38s now. So the trade actually is working. There are sellers. We're down at 38s. I'd scratch there because of how big the jump was. Um, so having a 5 or 6 tick thought, pre-market, and then swapping to 20 when the market opens. There's some speed of tape action now. 36 is filling out the node. Short. That's just my intuitive reaction to 36.50. And then catch the stop out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away at 37.75. Yeah, they plunge, I get long and catch the plunge, pushing up to 39s probably. Keep dried up, I get out. Now we're hunting this guy at 37.50. There's absorption there. 45 trade. It's a real order. 48s and 48s. I'd get short. I'd scratch right there. I'd mark it open. It'd give me 2 ticks. I mean, I'd mark it in and they'd give me 2 ticks. 36.50s is the next level. Tape stops. We're going higher. Liquidity dries up. So a kind of a contrarian short would be 38s. There's an auction there. I'd close for 2 tick loss. We're back into the value area. 37.50s would be a long based on just a sort of volume consensus. I would stay out of this because the profile doesn't look that good to trade, and the majority of my trades are losers anyway. We're walking up now. There's an LV on at 40.50. I can't short that, and they traverse it immediately anyways. I'd short the 4 or 5 tick stop at 42.25. I'd get out at 40.25. It's a plunge that was absorbed. Maker's offering lower. They're going to drag these people down. The seller steps in. We're filling out the LVM. It's very possible that we see 40s before we see 42.25s, even though they're offering more. They facilitate another auction. The maker offers lower. Tape dries up, which matters less. They're forming an auction, so you can expect it to hit 40s. But I also might be coping because it's been range bound between 75, 40.75, and 41.50. And it's also backticking back and forth. This trade has been on my book too long. I'd set a stop at 41.75. So if I lose, I lose 2 ticks. There's a plunge there at 40.75 off of 160. It's absorbed, which is bad news. And they're going to fill this order that's going to explode to the upside. No, it was absorbed. Sellers don't want to stack this bid, this ask, I mean. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I get out because I don't know anymore. This is an anomalous movement, and I don't know enough information about it. And when it fills, it doesn't slip 2 or 3 ticks. So we're kind of gridlocked filling out this LVN. That's the best I could manage it, frankly. The best I know how. VPOC of the day shifts. We're now playing a 38 and 4250 range. There's not much that can be said here. For lower, they're driven. Makers trying to push it. Market's becoming more active participant wise. So I think we can trade off inside prints more. They pull again. Seller steps in again. Trade 96s on sellers. VPOC shifts. Somebody's throwing size. 38s down to 38.75, I think. But that's kind of an unnecessarily zealous target. And then 41.75. It's offered once and sellers step in. So I have to market it. And then tape stagnates. Down to 40 evens liquidity. And the ask pulls. No, there's a buyer there. We're outside looking for liquidity. That doesn't mean we're going to traverse the LBN. 42.75s is the write-off. Back in the value area, you get short at 41.75 and try to hit 40 evens. $42.50. Pushing highs again. Second time. So my thesis is less strong now. The seller steps in. The auction shifts. Value is shifting higher. Be time to get long. Get 41.75. Setting sort of a marginal entry against VPOC. But I think I got tricked into putting this trade on. The asks pull again. Liquidity dries up at 42.50. I'm still holding the trade. I'm hoping they can break at least halfway into the LBN. There we get it. The ask pulls again. The makers push it hopefully to 44.25. We'll read the tape and see what happens. Looks like some sustained participation. Really dry compared to VPOC. Some sell action. If I see a strong seller step in or like that, but it was kind of weak and we're still on the outside. Or if the ask pulls again, I'll scratch for a 2-3 tick loss, assuming I got him at 42.50. We're revisiting my entry. Now the concern with this trade is that I'm going against the established value area. So let me get out. I'll hold it. Going against the established value area, which is down to 740, which is where VPOC is. So it's a breakout trade. Okay, time to get out. So I'd scratch for 5 tick loss. I'd round trip it. So I got overzealous looking for 44.25s. Price broke down. They pulled up into 43.75. Then we came back down to my entry 2 or 3 times. The market said we wanted to go lower by offering those prices again and again. And like a cutoff side. I think this can be solved just by ignoring the trade and listening to the market. lower down to 37.75. Two tick slippage down to 37.25s probably. One tick slippage down to 37.50. Big buy demand. They pull. That was too fast for them. They're going to plunge it to 40 evens VPOC. So back ticking back and forth. The auction, a big seller. That's interesting. I get out because the market's not doing what I wanted it to. Then I'd sit on my hands till 37.55. Liquidity dries up on the inside prints anyway. They're offering higher prices, so they stopped at 37.75 and rallied. And they walked it lower on the maker, 37 evens. Now there's a seller there, so there's no trade. 137s. They're gonna hit that. Yeah, they're filling out the profile now. It looks like lower. 36.25 looks like the floor. Higher short term because of the maker, because of liquidity, and then the buyer steps in, walk it back down. The buyer should step in here again. The maker wants higher prices. The maker pulls, there's no buyer. Okay, so we're back on reversion to the mean. Look it down. No buyer. Auction shifting lower. I'd still hold it. Value shifting. It's time to get out. Lower. 37.50 to 37 even. After shifting the auction, we push low of day. These are breakout trades now. Short down to 33s. Hold it. Get out. I'll just prove it to you. It dries up. 22s. So it's gone now. There's no more opportunity. There's an opportunity right there. It's sticky. The auction shifting. Liquidity dries up. It's time to get out. Now we're going to move higher. We're still going to move higher again. Yeah. The auction's stickier this time, though. The maker pulls. They try to facilitate trade lower. Seller steps in. The maker pulls again. And a buyer steps in at 34s. The market's going to open, and that'll be wrapped. It moves higher because they don't want 33s. It moved higher pre-market. She's lower. Now we're revisiting prices. We're going lower. 31s, 100s on the ask. The auction shifted now. 33 25s. Stink bid 33 evens. We see lower prices on the open. So 34 50s was the ceiling for the move, I guess. I'm about to place an order, but I don't even know if it's worth the mental turmoil, if it makes sense. That was more gambling. I'm not going to count any, but I'll be back in whenever.